The room was silent except for the soft hum of the air filters. 5 beings sat around a circular table made of a material that seemed to absorb light. Above them, a holographic display showed a rotating image of Earth, with a small red dot marking a location in the middle of the North American continent. "This is the target," said Counselor Vex, his blue skin reflecting the soft light as he gestured toward the hologram. A human male known as John Miller. Age appears to be mid-40s by their standards, lives alone. Works as what they call a mechanic, repairing primitive combustion vehicles. The 5 assassins studied the image that replaced Earth, a plain-looking human with brown hair and eyes. Nothing remarkable about his features. "This is who the mighty Galactic Federation fears?" Duran asked, his 4 arms crossed over his massive chest. His skin was the color of rust, covered in tribal markings. "He looks weak, even for a human." "Appearances can be deceiving, Counselor," Vex replied sharply. "This human must be eliminated before he awakens to his full potential." The council has voted unanimously. Krasixel, the reptilian strategist, leaned forward. His scaled face showed no emotion, but his voice carried a note of curiosity. "What crime has this human committed to warrant such attention from us?" "That information is classified," Vex said. "You 5 were chosen for your specific skills, not to question council decisions." The robotic figure seated at the far end of the table spoke in a perfectly modulated voice. "Mission parameters unclear. Target threat level assessment required for optimal execution." Mach 7's metallic body gleamed under the lights, its face a blank screen showing only a pulsing blue light when it spoke. "Humans are a primitive species. Barely out of their Stone Age," Vex said dismissively. "They have nuclear weapons but haven't even colonized their own moon permanently. This particular human is dangerous only because of what he represents, not what he currently is." The 5th being in the room had no solid form. Zephyr existed as a swirling mist contained within a special field generator that allowed it to take, roughly, humanoid shape. Its voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "Previous teams have been sent. What happened to them?" A moment of uncomfortable silence filled the room. "Communications were lost," Vex finally admitted. "Which is why we're sending 5 of you this time. Overkill perhaps, but the council wants this matter resolved quickly and quietly." Vilara, who until now had been silent, finally spoke. Her form was constantly shifting slightly, never quite settling on one appearance, the mark of her species' natural shape-shifting abilities. "My infiltration skills would work better alone. Why send all of us?" "Because time is of the essence," Vex snapped. "Earth is approaching a technological tipping point. We cannot allow them to reach the stars with him guiding them." Krasixel's forked tongue flicked out briefly, tasting the air. "You fear this human." "The council fears nothing," Vex said too quickly. "You will leave immediately. Standard protocols apply. No evidence, no witnesses, no traces of alien technology. Make it appear as a common human crime." After the briefing, the 5 gathered in the preparation chamber. Equipment and weapons were distributed according to their specialties. "This mission makes no sense," Duran grumbled as he checked his pulse blades. 5 of us for 1 primitive human?" "Orders are orders," Krasixel replied, carefully packing vials of untraceable toxins. "Though I agree something feels missing from our briefing." Mach 7 was downloading Earth language and cultural files. Analysis suggests 97.3% probability of undisclosed mission parameters. Vilara studied images of human females, preparing for her infiltration role. "We'll learn the truth soon enough." Zephyr's misty form pulsed gently. "Truth has many layers. Perhaps we peel one back by accepting this mission." Their ship was small but advanced, capable of reaching Earth in days rather than years. Its technology, designed to evade the primitive scanning systems of the planet. As they departed from the Federation station, none of them spoke the obvious thought on their minds. Why would the most powerful government in the galaxy send 5 of its best assassins after one ordinary human mechanic from a backwater planet? They would soon find out. The abandoned warehouse on the edge of town made a perfect base. From the outside, it looked like just another forgotten building. Inside, it now contained technology centuries beyond Earth's development. Krasixel adjusted. The cloaking field that kept their operations hidden from human detection. Surveillance systems are fully operational, he reported, his clawed fingers dancing over holographic controls. 5 days had passed since their arrival in the small Ohio town. 5 days of watching John Miller's every move. I fail to see the threat, Duran said, pacing the room. His heavy footsteps echoed against metal floors. He fixes vehicles. He eats. He sleeps. Sometimes he drinks at the same establishment. Where is this great danger the council fears? On the wall, multiple screens showed different angles of their target's life. John Miller was a man of routine. He woke at 6:30 each morning, went for a run, showered, and was at his garage by 8:00. He worked until 6:00, sometimes later if a job required it. Tuesdays and Thursdays he bought groceries. Friday nights he visited a local bar called the Rusty Wrench, had exactly 3 beers, and walked home just after midnight. Patience, said Zephyr, its misty form drifting between the monitors. Even, the stillest water may hide currents beneath. Mach 7 stood perfectly still in the corner, its systems constantly processing data. Subject displays minor anomalies in movement patterns. Reaction time exceeds human average by 17.3%. Muscle efficiency suggests possible enhancement. Or he's just a healthy human, Vilara said as she entered the room. She had taken the form of a human female with blonde hair and was dressed in work clothes stained with engine oil. I've been working beside him for 3 days now. He's skilled. With machines, but nothing that suggests advanced knowledge. Krasixel turned from his station. Have you learned anything useful? He's well liked by the other humans. They respect him. He solves problems others can't, but never boasts about it. Vilara shifted her appearance slightly, adjusting her facial features. He also has surprisingly little history. Records show he moved here 8 years ago, but references to him before that are sparse. Suspicious, Duran growled, or simply, a private individual, Zephyr countered. Mach 7's face screen flickered. New data. Subject visited secure storage unit yesterday. Contents unknown. The screen shifted to show footage of John unlocking a storage unit at the edge of town. He entered, stayed for 27 minutes, then left with nothing in his hands. What's in there? Duran asked. Unknown. Facility has basic security cameras only at entrances. No visual on interior, Mach 7 replied. Krasixel hissed softly. Perhaps we should investigate this storage unit. No, Vilara said firmly. We stick to the plan. Too much activity might alert him if he is more than he appears. I grow tired of watching, Duran complained. The council fears shadows. Let me end this tonight. The mission parameters were clear, Krasixel reminded him. It must appear to be a human crime, a simple mugging gone wrong. They all looked at the screen showing John's Friday routine from the previous week, his walk home through the poorly lit alley behind the Rusty Wrench. Tomorrow is Friday, Vilara noted. The alley provides optimal conditions. No cameras, poor lighting, low chance of witnesses. Then we are agreed, Krasixel said. Tomorrow night we complete our mission. Zephyr pulsed uncertainly. I sense something unusual about this human, an energy pattern I have not encountered before. Specify, demanded Mach 7. I cannot. It is elusive. Present then absent. Duran laughed harshly. More likely you sense your own fear energy being. This mission is beneath us. As the others finalized their plans, Vilara stared at the screen showing John working on an old car's engine, his hands moving with practiced ease. For 3 days she had worked alongside him as Lisa Carter, the new mechanic. He had been kind, patient, showing her tricks of the trade as if she were truly a novice human. Not once had he given any indication he suspected her true nature. Yet something in his eyes sometimes, a depth, a knowing look, made her wonder if he saw more than he revealed. Tomorrow night they would have their answer. 5 assassins against 1 human in a dark alley. It would be quick, professional, untraceable, unless the council's fears were justified. Friday night arrived with a gentle rain that left the streets glistening under the yellow streetlights. John Miller sat at his usual corner spot in the Rusty Wrench, nursing his second beer. The bartender, an older man named Frank, leaned against the counter. "Busy week?" Frank asked. John nodded. Mrs. Henderson's Buick finally gave up, had to rebuild the transmission. "You work miracles on those old cars," Frank said with a smile. "Another beer?" "One more," John replied. "Then I should head home." Outside, hidden in various positions around the alley, 5 assassins waited. Each had taken their assigned position. Krasixel blended into the shadows behind a dumpster. Duran stood at the far end of the alley, his forearms now disguised under a large coat, looking like a bulky human. Mach 7 had reconfigured its appearance to resemble a homeless person huddled under a pile of cardboard. Vilara waited at the mouth of the alley, looking like any normal human woman waiting for a ride. Zephyr had dispersed its form into a thin mist that clung to the alley ceiling, invisible in the darkness. Their plan was simple. Krasixel would make the initial approach, appearing to be a common mugger. The others would only reveal themselves if necessary. It would look like a mugging gone wrong, the human killed by multiple stab wounds from a common knife. By morning, they would be off-planet. Mission accomplished. At 12:17, John finished his last beer, left a generous tip, and stepped out into the night. He zipped up his jacket against the cool air and began his walk home, following his usual route. Krasixel's voice came through their hidden communicators. "Target approaching. Everyone in position." John turned into the alley, his footsteps echoing on the wet pavement. He walked with his hands in his pockets, seemingly unaware of the danger surrounding him. Halfway down the alley, Krasixel stepped out from behind the dumpster, blocking John's path. In his hand was a simple human knife. "Wallet and phone," Krasixel demanded, his voice disguised to sound human. "Now." John stopped walking. He looked at Krasixel, then sighed deeply. There was no fear in his eyes, only what appeared to be annoyance. "Really?" John said. "Tonight of all nights?" Something in his tone made Krasixel pause. This was not how humans typically responded to being mugged. "I said, 'Give me your wallet,'" Krasixel repeated, stepping closer. "No, you didn't," John replied, calmly. "You said wallet and phone. Let's not pretend this is a real mugging, Krasixel of the Saurian Dominion." Krasixel froze. The human knew his name, his species. Before he could respond, Mach 7 activated its combat protocols, lunging from its hiding place with mechanical speed. The robot's arm extended, transforming into a precision killing tool. What happened next seemed impossible. John moved with a fluidity that no human should possess. He sidestepped Mach 7's attack, grabbed the extended arm, and with a twist and precise strike to what appeared to be a hidden joint, disabled the robot's primary motor functions. Mach 7 collapsed to the ground, its systems flickering. "One down," John said casually. Duran roared and charged from the other end of the alley, shedding his disguise, all 4 arms now wielding different weapons. Vilara shifted into her combat form, her body becoming more fluid and deadly. Zephyr condensed into a visible storm of energy above. John stood calmly in the center of the alley as the assassins converged on him. His posture changed subtly. Feet positioned perfectly, hands relaxed but ready. "Did they even tell you why they sent you?" he asked, his voice carrying clearly despite the chaos erupting around him. Duran reached him first, blades slashing, from 4 different angles. John moved like water, every motion efficient and precise. He dodged 2 blades, caught one arm at the wrist, and used Duran's momentum to throw the 4-armed warrior into the wall. Vilara attacked from behind, her form shifting into something with claws and fangs. John ducked without looking back, as if he had eyes everywhere, and Vilara flew over him, missing entirely. Zephyr descended as a crackling storm of energy, attempting to envelop John. The human pulled something small from his pocket, a device, no larger than a coin, and activated it. Zephyr's form scattered, disrupted by whatever field the device created. In less than 30 seconds, what should have been a simple assassination had become something else entirely. The human stood unharmed among his attackers, looking more irritated than afraid. "We need to talk," John said. "But not here." The 5 assassins found themselves in an unexpected situation. Instead of completing their mission, they were now seated in a hidden underground facility beneath John Miller's modest house. The room looked like a cross between a high-tech laboratory and a military command center, with technology that even they recognized as advanced. Duran and Mach 7 were restrained in special chairs that nullified their strengths. Krasixel, Vilara, and Zephyr were not physically bound but sat across from John at a large metal table. "You're not what you appear to be," Krasixel stated, his reptilian eyes fixed on John. "Neither are you," John replied with a small smile. "A Saurian elite assassin disguised as a common mugger isn't exactly typical either." John stood and walked to a wall that suddenly transformed into a display screen showing the galaxy. He touched a point of light near the outer rim. "Earth," he said, then pointed to a bright cluster near the center, the Galactic Federation's core worlds. His finger traced a path between them. A journey that should take centuries with human technology, yet here you all are. "Who are you?" Vilara asked. Her form settled now into her natural state, iridescent and fluid. John turned to face them. "I've been living on Earth for over 50 years now. Before that, I was known as Commander John Miller, humanity's first interstellar diplomat." Zephyr's misty form pulsed with surprise. "Impossible. Humans have not achieved interstellar flight." "Not officially," John agreed. "Publicly, humans are still arguing about returning to their moon. Secretly, we've been among the stars for nearly a century." "Lies," Duran growled from his restraints. "The Federation would know." "The Federation did know," John said quietly. "That was the problem." He pressed another control, and the display showed images of massive ships, clearly built by human hands but incorporating technology similar to their own. 80 years ago, a human exploration vessel encountered a Federation mining operation near what you call the Cygnus Arm. Instead of open contact, the Federation chose to study us secretly. They infiltrated Earth governments, stole our technology, and planned to eventually make humanity another client species. Mach 7's lights flickered. "Historical records show no such encounter." "Of course not," John replied. "History is written by those in power. When I discovered the truth, I made a choice. I erased Earth's coordinates from Federation databases, eliminated their agents on our planet, and severed all official contact. Single human could not accomplish this," Mach 7 stated. John smiled and moved faster than their eyes could track, appearing instantly beside Mach 7's chair. "I'm not exactly a typical human." He returned to his position by the display at normal speed. "The Federation has spent decades trying to rediscover Earth's location. They want to eliminate me because I'm the only one who knows the full extent of their plans for humanity." "You have enhancements," Krasixel observed. "Genetic, cybernetic?" "Both and more," John confirmed. "Part of my diplomatic mission included upgrades to survive different environments and potential hostilities." Vilara leaned forward. "Why are you telling us this? We were sent to kill you." "Because you deserve to know why you were really sent," John replied. "The Federation Council didn't tell you that 12 previous assassination teams never returned. They didn't tell you that humanity isn't the primitive species they described, and they certainly didn't tell you their real fear." "Which is?" Zephyr asked. "That humanity will soon be ready to join the galactic community on our own terms. And when that happens, the Federation's questionable practices will be exposed." John touched the display again, showing images of human cities, technology, and spaceships under construction in secret facilities. "We're nearly ready. I've been guiding Earth's development from the shadows, introducing technologies at a pace that won't disrupt society, but will prepare us for what's coming." The storage facility, Vilara realized, You're distributing advanced technology through your work as a mechanic. John nodded. Small improvements that seem like normal innovation. Nothing that would alert the Federation to our progress. Krazexel's tongue flicked out, tasting the air. You speak truth, human. I sense no deception. So now you have a choice, John said, looking at each assassin in turn. Return to the Federation with a warning. Stay on Earth as refugees, or help me prepare humanity for the stars. The 5 assassins exchanged glances, the weight of decision hanging in the air between them. Silence filled the room as John's offer hung in the air. The 5 assassins had come to Earth with a clear mission. Now, everything had changed. Duran was the first to break the silence. Release me, he demanded, straining against his restraints. I will complete my mission or die trying. The Federation's orders are absolute. John studied the 4-armed warrior. Is that your final decision? Traitors, Duran spat, looking at his teammates. The Council will hunt you all if you betray them. The Council sent us here without full information, Krazexel said, his scaled face unreadable. That fact cannot be ignored. John walked over to Duran's restraints and adjusted something on the control panel. I'm giving you a chance, Duran. More than the Federation gave humanity. I need no chances from a primitive species. Duran growled. The restraints clicked open. For a moment, no one moved. Then Duran lunged with blinding speed, all 4 arms reaching for weapons hidden in his clothing. John moved faster. There was no wasted motion, no hesitation. One precise strike to Duran's central nerve cluster, and the massive warrior collapsed to the floor, his nervous system temporarily overloaded. John looked down at Duran with genuine regret. I was hoping for a different choice. Mach 7 had been silent until now, its robotic systems calculating possibilities. Query: what is statistical likelihood of human victory against Federation forces? Currently low, John admitted, but improving every day. We don't need to defeat their entire military. We just need to make invasion too costly to attempt. The robot's lights flickered in what might have been consideration. Logical approach. Federation Council avoids high-risk ventures with uncertain returns. Optimal strategy detected. The robot's screen changed color. This unit calculates 78.4% probability of mission success under your leadership. I will assist. John smiled. Thank you, Mach 7. Krazexel stood suddenly, his tall form imposing. Everyone tensed, but the reptilian assassin did something unexpected. He placed his right fist over his chest and bowed slightly. The Saurian code values honor in combat and wisdom in leadership, Krazexel said formally. You have demonstrated both. My people were once conquered by the Federation before becoming valued allies. I know the true face behind their diplomatic masks. He straightened. I will stand with you, John Miller of Earth. John returned the gesture. I accept your allegiance, Krazexel of the Saurian Dominion. All eyes turned to V. Lara. Her shape-shifting form rippled slightly as she considered her options. During my time at your workshop, she said slowly, I saw how you treated others. You helped the old human woman who couldn't afford repairs. You taught the young apprentice with patience. These are not the actions of a dangerous being. She nodded. I will help you. But I need you to understand something. Not all of the Federation is corrupt. There are good people there too. I know, John said gently. This isn't about revenge. It's about ensuring humanity's freedom. Finally, everyone looked at Zephyr. The energy being had been unusually quiet, its misty form pulsing softly. I am older than all of you combined, Zephyr's voice echoed through the room. I have seen civilizations rise and fall. The Federation began with noble ideals, but power corrupts over time. Its form brightened. I sensed something special in you, human. An energy pattern unlike any I've encountered in centuries. Now I understand why. The misty form moved closer to John. My people were observers before joining the Federation. I believe it is time to observe something new. I will stay. John looked around the room. 3 of the 5 assassins had chosen to switch sides. Duran lay unconscious, but alive. Mach 7 was calculating probabilities. Krazixel stood proud in his new allegiance. Vilara's form had settled into a more comfortable state. Zephyr glowed with renewed purpose. "Then we begin," John said, activating a new display on the wall. "The Federation will discover their team is missing soon. We need to prepare." As one, the new allies turned toward the future, a future where humanity would join the stars on their own terms, with unexpected allies by their side. The weeks that followed were filled with intense activity. John's underground facility became a center for training and knowledge exchange. Each of his new allies brought valuable skills that could help prepare humanity for its emergence into the galactic community. Krazixel stood in the center of a special training room, facing 6 humans in military uniforms. Each wore a small pin identifying them as part of a secret program. The reptilian assassin moved with fluid grace, demonstrating combat techniques developed over centuries. "Your natural instinct is to protect your front," he explained, his scaled skin gleaming under the lights. "But a Drakari warrior will always attack from multiple angles. You must think in 3 dimensions." The soldiers nodded, their faces serious as they practiced the movements Krazixel showed them. They had been shocked at first by his appearance, but John had carefully selected people who could handle the truth. In another section of the facility, Vilara sat with a group of diplomats and language experts. Her form shifted subtly as she demonstrated the body language of different species. "The Novan collective communicates as much through posture as through words," she explained. "This slight tilt of the head shows respect, while this stance indicates openness to negotiation." The humans took careful notes, occasionally practicing the gestures themselves. One woman raised her hand. "How many species are in the Federation?" 47 with full membership, Vilara answered. Another 39 with associate status. Earth would be categorized as a developing world under their system. In the main laboratory, Zephyr floated beside a team of physicists who stared in wonder at equations floating in a holographic display. "Your current understanding of quantum mechanics is remarkably accurate," the energy being said, its voice resonating strangely in the room. "But you've missed a key connection between gravitational waves and subspace fields." The lead physicist, an older man with wild gray hair, shook his head in amazement. "This would revolutionize our approach to faster-than-light travel." "That is the intent," Zephyr replied simply. Meanwhile, Mach 7 worked with computer scientists, helping them improve Earth's digital security systems. The robot's knowledge of Federation hacking techniques proved invaluable. Federation infiltration protocols utilize quantum intrusion methods, Mach 7 explained. "Your binary security measures are ineffective. Implementing these changes will increase protection by 3,428%. The programmers looked both impressed and overwhelmed as line after line of code filled their screens. John moved between these groups, coordinating efforts and answering questions. Duran remained in a contained medical unit, unwilling to cooperate, but unable to interfere. John had refused to harm him further, hoping the warrior might eventually reconsider. In his private office, John reviewed progress reports. Earth's technology was advancing rapidly with the guidance of his alien allies, but it needed to happen without causing panic or alerting the Federation that their assassins had failed. "Computer, show me Project Aegis," John commanded. A holographic display appeared, showing a massive shield system designed to protect Earth's atmosphere. It was being built in pieces disguised as separate satellite launches by different countries. "Estimated completion time?" he asked. 14 months at current pace, the computer responded. John frowned. "Not fast enough. The Federation will send scouts once they realize their team is missing." The door opened and his 3 alien allies entered. "We've been discussing that problem," Krazixel said. "I believe we can accelerate development by introducing Saurian crystalline technology to the power systems." Vilara nodded. "And my people's camouflage techniques could hide the construction from long-range sensors. I can enhance energy efficiency by 62.7%, Mach 7 added. With these modifications, completion time would be reduced to approximately 5 months, Zephyr concluded. John smiled at his unlikely team. Good work, but we need to maintain secrecy while moving forward. Too much advancement too quickly will raise questions we're not ready to answer. The humans you've selected learn quickly, Krasixel observed. Their adaptability is impressive. It's one of our greatest strengths, John replied. We've spent our history adapting to challenges and overcoming them. Vilara's form rippled slightly. The Federation has no idea what they're about to face, do they? John's expression grew serious. No. They expect a primitive species barely out of its cradle. What they'll find is humanity, ready and waiting, with friends they never expected us to have. 3 months passed without word from the Federation. John knew this silence wouldn't last. In the command center of his underground facility, he studied the deep space monitoring systems that Zephyr had helped upgrade. Contact, the computer announced suddenly. Unknown vessel approaching solar system using stealth technology consistent with Federation Scout class. John pressed a button on the console. All teams on alert. First contact imminent. Krasixel entered the room, his scaled face serious. They've finally noticed their assassins are missing. Right on schedule, John agreed. Is the intercept team ready? Captain Allen's crew is standing by, Krasixel confirmed. Their ship has all the modifications we discussed. The door slid open again as Vilara and Zephyr joined them. Mach 7 was already plugged into the main system, its processes integrated with Earth's defense network. The scout will likely avoid direct contact, Vilara said. Their mission will be observation only. John nodded. Which is why we're going to capture it instead. They won't expect that level of capability from us. On the main screen, a small blip appeared at the edge of the solar system. The Federation scout ship was maintaining distance, probably scanning Earth from afar. They're using standard scanning protocols, Mach 7 reported. Our countermeasures are feeding them altered data. They are seeing exactly what we want them to. See? John smiled. A normal Earth, slightly more advanced than their last intelligence, but nothing threatening. Projection indicates they will complete their scan in 17.4 minutes and retreat to make their report. Mach 7 calculated. John pressed a button on his console. Captain Allen, you are clear to proceed. Remember, we need that ship intact, and at least some of the crew alive for questioning. Understood, sir, came the crisp reply. Moving to intercept now. On a smaller screen, they could see Earth's first true interstellar defense vessel emerging from its hidden base on the far side of the moon. The ship looked simple from the outside, almost crude by Federation standards, but inside it contained technology from all 3 alien species who had chosen to help humanity. They've spotted our ship, Mach 7 announced. Federation vessel is powering engines, preparing to retreat. Too late, Krasixel said with satisfaction. The Earth vessel suddenly accelerated to speeds that should have been impossible for such a seemingly primitive craft. Before the Federation scout could react, it was surrounded. A carefully calibrated energy pulse disabled its engines and communications. Capture successful, reported Captain Allen. Boarding team moving in now. John exhaled slowly. This was the first real test of their preparations. Well done, Captain. Bring our guests home. 6 hours later, John stood in a secure room facing the captured Federation scout crew. There were 5 of them from different species, all wearing the gray uniforms of Federation intelligence. I am John Miller of Earth, he said calmly. You are not prisoners, but neither are you free to leave just yet. The Federation captain, a tall being with blue skin and 4 eyes, looked at him with shock. How is this possible? Earth shouldn't have this level of technology. You can thank your assassins for that, John replied. Or at least the 3 who chose to help us instead of killing me. As if on cue, Krasixel, Vilara, and Zephyr entered the room. The Federation crew's reaction was immediate. Disbelief, then understanding, then fear. Impossible, whispered the captain. Vilara stepped forward. We discovered the truth about the Federation's plans for Earth. We made our choice. John placed a data crystal on the table between them. This contains a message for your council. You will be released with your ship to deliver it. What message? The captain asked cautiously. That Earth knows the truth, that we are not the primitive species you believe us to be, and that we are preparing to take our place among the stars, not as your subjects but as equals. The captain stared at the crystal, then at John. The council will not accept this. They don't have to accept it, John said firmly. They just have to understand it. Earth is under our protection now. Our protection, Krasexel corrected, standing proudly beside his human ally. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer alone, and the Federation's plans would need to change. The galaxy was about to meet a species they had severely underestimated. Sixing. Weeks after releasing the Federation scouts with their message, Earth's long-range sensors detected a large vessel entering the solar system. Unlike the scout ship, this one made no attempt to hide its presence. It was a Federation diplomatic cruiser, impressive in size and clearly designed to intimidate. In the newly established Earth Defense Command Center, representatives from 12 nations gathered alongside John and his alien allies. What had begun as John's private operation was now an official global initiative. When the evidence became too strong to ignore, world leaders had finally been brought into the fold. They're hailing us, reported Admiral Garcia, who commanded Earth's small but growing fleet. On screen, John replied. The large display lit up with the image of a Federation ambassador, a tall, elegant being with silver skin and elongated features. I am Ambassador Zoln of the Galactic Federation, the being announced. I come with greetings to the people of Earth and an invitation to discuss your world's future. John stepped forward. I am Commander John Miller, representing the United Earth Government. We are prepared to meet, Ambassador, but be aware that we come to any discussion as equals, not supplicants. The ambassador's expression flickered briefly, surprise, then careful control. Of course, perhaps a neutral location for our meeting? Our vessel has appropriate facilities. No, John said firmly. The meeting will take place here on Earth. We will provide security for your delegation. After a pause, the ambassador nodded. Agreed. We will send a shuttle with our diplomatic team in 6 hours. When the communication ended, President Lawson, the appointed head of the Earth delegation, turned to John. Do you think they're planning something? That agreement seemed too easy. John nodded. They're definitely planning something, but so are we. The meeting was arranged in a specially prepared conference center built beneath the United Nations building in New York. When the Federation delegation arrived, they were escorted through security measures secretly designed by Mach's 7 ambassador. Zoln led a team of 5 diplomats into the conference room. He faltered momentarily upon seeing Krasexel, Vialara, and Zephyr standing proudly with the Earth delegation. I see the rumors were true, the ambassador said carefully. Some of our people have chosen to ally with humans. We chose truth over deception, Vialara replied. The Federation team took their seats across from Earth's representatives. What was supposed to be a diplomatic meeting quickly revealed its true nature. Let us be direct, Ambassador Zoln said. The Federation Council is concerned about Earth's rapid technological advancement. It creates instability in this sector. Instability? President Lawson questioned. Or competition? The ambassador smiled thinly. We come with an offer. Earth will be granted Class 2 membership in the Federation. We will provide technology, protection, and access to interstellar trade routes. All we ask is that certain restrictions be placed on your military development. John had been expecting this. While disguised as a generous offer, what you're really proposing is controlled development and limited sovereignty, a practical arrangement that has benefited many worlds, the ambassador countered smoothly. President Lawson leaned forward. Before we respond, Ambassador, there's something you should know. At her nod, a side door opened. Through it walked Captain Allen, escorting a familiar 4-armed figure. Duran. Ambassador Zoln's composure cracked. You were reported missing with the others. The warrior stood tall, his 4 arms relaxed at his sides. I was captured. Then I watched. And I learned. John had visited Duran daily during his confinement, never pushing, only talking. explaining humanity's history and potential. Eventually, the warrior had started asking questions instead of making threats. "The Federation lied to us about humans," Duran said simply. "I cannot serve those who deceive their own people." With Duran's change of heart, all 5 original assassins had now switched sides. The ambassador's face hardened. "This is unexpected, but changes nothing. Our offer stands." President Lawson stood up. "We appreciate your offer, Ambassador, but Earth must decline. Instead, we propose an alliance of equals. We have much to offer each other, but we will never surrender our independence. The Council will see this as a hostile action," the ambassador warned. John stepped forward, the same man who had once faced 5 assassins in an alley and turned 3 of them to his cause. "No, they will see it as humanity's first true step into the galaxy. We come in peace, Ambassador, but we come on our terms. Tell your council that Earth is ready for the stars." As the Federation delegation departed, John stood with his unlikely allies. 5 assassins sent to kill him now, standing with humanity against those who had sent them. The galaxy would never be the same.